Hey, this is Dan Gallagher from MarketWatch, and we're here today with Therese, one of our technology columnists. She wrote this fascinating article today about this big campus that Apple's trying to build down in Silicon Valley, and this new idea that's come up from somebody that's proven to be kind of interesting. Why don't you tell us more about that?
Sure. This historian named David Grealish in Atlanta, he has decided that Apple should have a visitor center to deal with all the hordes of people that are going to be coming to the new Spaceship campus.
And something that's not really in the plans, at least that we know of right now, to have such a thing.
Right.
This would be a secretive campus. Now, and we call it the Spaceship because it's going to look like this giant saucer of a dish that's implanted in the ground, and that's why it's gotten this nickname.
Yes, it's like a big, giant donut of all glass and steel, and it's going to be pretty huge, and it's going to be a big, iconic building.
Well, it sounds like a visitor center doesn't seem to be that controversial of an idea, but this one has generated a little bit of controversy. Why is that?
Well, one reason is because he also is pitching to have a small little museum with some Apple products, a little homage to Steve Jobs.
Maybe the first Macintosh.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And why is this controversial at all?
Well, Apple really is pretty focused on the future, and they don't really like to look backwards. And even Phil Schiller answered an email by the historian and said, this is not really a good idea for us because we are a forward-looking company.
Fascinating. Well, certainly they like to keep their focus on what they're doing rather than the past. However, what's going to set this apart? I mean, this is going to be kind of a unique building in the neighborhood of Silicon Valley corporate offices, right? Exactly,
because compared to all the other boring sort of tilt-up, bland research campuses, it's going to really stand out. So Apple's going to be getting a lot of people that are going to be curious about this building between the Apple fans and architecture freaks that are going to be really interested in this building.
So it's likely that before they ever get to the point where they actually get this thing built and get it opened up, they're probably going to have to consider this. Consider something that they're going to do with an influx of people who are curious for all kinds of reasons.
It seems like it. I think they probably should have some sort of plan to deal with the interested people. I mean, even Steve Jobs, when he made his presentation to the city of Cupertino, he even said he expected architecture students would be very curious about visiting the new campus. So we'll see what happens.
We certainly will. It'll be a few years, but it'll be interesting to see how they approach that problem.
Yeah.
For MarketWatch, I'm Dan Gallagher.